London, Regent's Park, a house that cannot be seen, 12 acres of garden, a dense hedge. No sign, no entrance for the public. Only those who are invited may enter. Heads of state, ambassadors, presidents. This house is called Winfield House. It is the official residence of the U.S. ambassador in London, and it has belonged to the American state since 1946, purchased for $1. The woman who gave it away for $1 was called Barbara Hutton, heiress to the Woolworth fortune. At 21, one of the richest women in the world, she built this house. She lived in it. Her son was born in it. And then she gave it away, not because she had to, but because she came back and saw what the war had made of it. What was broken, she gave away. She had always done that. Barbara is born in 1912 in New York. Her mother, Edna Woolworth, daughter of the department store empire. Her father, Franklin Hutton, co-founder of one of New York's largest investment banks. At 4 years old, Barbara finds her mother dead in bed. The official cause of death, an ear infection. The rumors point to another cause entirely. The family pays city officials to ensure no investigation takes place. Barbara goes to her grandparents on Long Island, to Winfield Hall, an estate with 60 rooms. Her grandfather, Frank Winfield Woolworth, calls her Princess. He surrounds her with everything queens have. She later writes about him. Wooly was always a little loony, but he was sweet to me. He is the only person in her childhood who makes her feel seen. But he too struggles with himself, paranoia, melancholy. When Barbara is 7, he dies. His fortune goes first to her grandmother. Her father sends Barbara from relative to relative, boarding schools, governesses, addresses that keep changing. At school, she tries to buy friendship, pearls, rubies, dolls dressed in Lanvin. I wanted their attention, she writes later. Instead, I was robbed and despised. When Barbara is 12, her grandmother dies and leaves her $26 million in a trust. Her father manages everything that is waiting for her. He is good at it, but as a father, he is not there. 1930, in the middle of the Great Depression. Barbara turns 18. Her father throws a debutante ball at the Ritz-Carlton in New York. 4 orchestras, 200 waiters, 2,000 bottles of champagne. Cost $60,000. The newspapers are outraged. The public is outraged. The press gives her a name, one she will never shake. Poor little rich girl. Her father sends her on a luxury trip through Europe to escape the press. In Europe, she meets Alexis Mdivani, a Georgian prince, without money, but with titles. His sister, Russi Mdivani, takes matters into her own hands. She threatens Barbara. Either she marries Alexis, or Russi will make sure the press writes things about Barbara she will never recover from. Barbara has no choice. In 1933, she marries him in Paris. That same year, she receives her full fortune, almost $50 million. Alexis spends it faster than she can count it. The marriage to Alexis Mdivani was never happy. How could it have been? He had gotten what he wanted, and Barbara was already looking for the next one. 1935, the divorce. One day later, Kurt von Haugwitz-Reventlow, a Danish count, no prince this time, but a man with fists. Barbara is 23 years old, married for the second time. She buys a derelict plot in Regent's Park, has the old building demolished, and builds a new one, 35 rooms, Neo-Georgian style. 12 acres of garden, the second largest private garden in London, after Buckingham Palace. The interiors designed to her wishes, French boiserie paneling, high ceilings, spacious rooms. A staircase she designed herself. She names it after her grandfather's estate, Winfield House. In 1936, while still under construction, her son Lance is born there. 4 years earlier, the Lindbergh baby had been kidnapped. Wealthy parents were afraid. The house in Regent's Park, guarded, shielded, safe, becomes his home. The house is meant for him, a fixed place, safe, unchanging. what she herself never had. Barbara and Kurt divorce. Europe stands on the brink of war. She packs up Lance and returns to America. The house stays behind. The Royal Air Force requisitions it. A barrage balloon unit moves in. Officers play football in the gardens. They call themselves mockingly Barbara's own. Windows are boarded up, floors buckle. Wallpaper peels away, 5 years long. When the war ends, Barbara comes back. She sees what remains. It is no longer hers. And the next day she calls her lawyer in New York. She wants to give the house to the U.S. government as the official residence of the American ambassador for $1. President Harry Truman writes to her personally. He calls her offer most generous and patriotic. In 1946, Winfield House changes hands. The renovation takes almost a decade. In 1955, Ambassador Winthrop Aldrich moves in as the first. Since then, the house receives what Barbara never had permanently: stability, continuity, people who stay. Barbara marries 5 more times, 7 marriages in total. Almost everyone costs her millions. Only one leaves without taking anything: Cary Grant, her 3rd husband. Grant is also the only one who truly cares for Lance. He becomes stepfather when Lance is 6 years old. The bond between them survives the divorce from Barbara. Lance grows up in boarding schools, but Grant stays. He remains a confidant. And between the marriages, houses: a palace in the Casbah of Tangier, villas in Palm Beach, Mexico, California, staff everywhere, luxury everywhere. In a single decade, she spends $25 million. She never worked. Her grandfather built an empire from a 5-cent store. She lived off it until nothing was left. In Tangier, she throws parties the city never forgets: camels, snake charmers, belly dancers. She enters her own parties on a throne in Moroccan caftans, like a queen who does not know where to go, and gives strangers who show her a little attention jewels worth hundreds of thousands of dollars on impulse. Her long-standing lawyer, Graham Madison, sells her art and jewelry collection and keeps the proceeds. Husbands, lawyers, strangers. Everyone wants something from her. No one wants her. In 1972, Lance dies in a plane crash in the Rocky Mountains. He is 36 years old. Barbara collapses. She cannot attend the funeral. Cary Grant organizes everything. With Lance dies the last reason to get up. Drinks, sleeps under tablets. The Beverly Wilshire Hotel in Los Angeles becomes her last place, 7 years long. In 1979, she dies there, alone, almost blind, with $3,500 in her account. 10 people come to the funeral. The Woolworth Company, on which her fortune was built, closes its last American stores in 1997. The corporation becomes Foot Locker. Barbara did not live to see it. In London, Winfield House still stands. Princess Diana was a guest there. Trump stayed twice. Queen Elizabeth dined at the table that was built for receptions. In the garden stands a small bronze statue, a young woman, Barbara Hutton, Ambassador Charles Price and his wife. Found it by chance in Italy in 1979. The year Barbara died, the house still exists. For almost 80 years, an ambassador moves in, receives, passes on. No war, no sale, no divorce. It is perhaps the most stable object in Barbara's entire life. This house is today one of the most reliable symbols of American foreign policy, built by a woman who never knew what stability feels like. Perhaps this house shows something simple, that one can build a place that gives what one never had oneself, and that sometimes that is the only thing that remains.